For the listeners who may be hearing this information for the first time, in particular those who have children and grandchildren, could you speak about the role that the new children and the consciousness of the new children have on the planet, knowing that some of those children are teenagers, some of those children are now middle age, and is there any, I don't know how to ask this, so hear it, the drug addiction. Could you speak to that?
Addictions in general, and Steve talks from experience, addictions in general are huge on this planet. They're a way of us escaping out of our own power, a way for us to not take responsibility, to move back from that. I say that I've dealt with, I'm an addictive personality myself. I've been dealing with that for quite a bit of my adult life, and doing pretty well with it, I must say. But in reality, it's something that's going to be huge. Now, we've got this huge opioid epidemic going on our planet right now. There's several reasons for that. Part of it is the drug cartel. They saw the legalization of marijuana going on, and last season, they wiped out many of their marijuana fields and planted opium. And it's hitting the United States in big waves. Very few people are talking about it. They're talking about the opioid epidemic, but we have a few pieces of this that we're working with. There's a lot of ways of working with addictions. You don't heal an addiction, you switch addictions. So what we do with people like me who are addictive personalities, we find things to become addicted to that are good for us. Today, I'm addicted to this work. Ask my wife. She'll tell you, I'm absolutely addicted to this work. She keeps me in balance. That's the reality of it. But you switch addictions to find that. And the other part about it is we can't judge. There'll be many people choosing to leave this planet during these times, and that is one of the ways that we're going to see. I think the figures right now are about 150 people a day are actually leaving the planet right now because of just the opioid epidemic. We're going to see more of that. We're going to see other parts of that to work with and so forth. Now, one interesting thing that I want to expand on just a little bit, you talked about the kids, and even the children coming in, because I've been asked this, if we only have 50 years left of the planet the way we know it, what's going to happen to our kids? Well, the kids are the experts of change. These children that are being born now know what's coming. They may not know it consciously, but they know in their hearts, and their spirits may have a lot of answers for us to help us actually take these next steps up in the spiritual realm as well. So judgment has no place here. We need to step back, watch what's happening. If we're involved with it ourselves, we work with that. We choose our own choices. But the kids that are coming in are going to be well taken care of. Thank you.
I don't want to say what I'm thinking.
Say it, Jim.
I'll modify it. So you've got these stratas that are unfolding, and this is an evolution. And there are a lot of people who choose not to choose, and a lot of people who don't have the capacity to choose. They just simply are in that space of where they're in. You're going to see a great portion of that disappear off the face of the planet. There's going to be aspects of earth-changing events, not volcanoes or hurricanes or tsunamis necessarily, three biggest ones, but you're going to begin to see numbers of things happen where people are going to just simply step away. They'll be assisted in awkwardness and make it be an earthquake or a volcano, etc. But you're going to see, I believe, in the next 10 to 15 years, a disproportionate number of people leaving the planet. Yeah. And a lot of them you won't even be aware of. A lot of them you'll have all kinds of news about. You're going to have a event on the Earth, I believe, Steve and I have talked about this, but he mentioned it earlier. One of the things that most people have been programmed to believe is that we're into a massive Earth warming series. The Earth is getting hotter in different ways. The poles are losing their ice mass. But when you start to look at not just, you go and look at solar cycles, not just the 11-year cycle, you go back and you start to look at the 400-year cycles, the 900-year cycles, the 1,100-year cycles, the 11,000-year cycles. What you see is a very consistent set of plus or minus patterns that when you bring it right to here, the sunspots on the sun are getting lesser at every single cycle. the temperatures measurement around the planet, you are having lower highs year after year and lower lows year after year, and you're starting into something that could very well be the next ice age. Now, it doesn't have to be gigantic ice caps all over the place, but you're really looking at a cold trend. And the last time that cold trend happened of any real significance was in the year in 1600 to 1720, and you had massive famine in that period of time,
The group called it a mini ice age.
mini ice age.
Yeah.
And the likelihood of of that ice age cooling period is actually, in my opinion, doing the science and then having the conversations with the entities, including the elementals, is a high probability. Not a bad thing or a good thing.
Right.
How do you choose, again, is going to be the question. You're going to see things like vertical food growth in buildings that no longer can sustain themselves as just a city population center. You're going to see absolutely astonishing technological changes that is going to allow humanity to continue in wonderful ways, but many are going to step out.
On children, just very quickly, I would say teach them what I wished we had all been taught, that life is the and. They can be anything they want. Imagination is not just makeup. It's very, very real, that there's many other potentials, that they can be multiple potentials. They don't have to put up with just a very limited linear reality. And you know, I often think about what a difference it would have made for all of us if we'd have been encouraged with that rather than
Yeah.
shutting down for so long. So encourage them to open.